So with criminal justice reform, life after prison is always something that comes up because after people serve their sentences and they're trying to re-enter to society, they have a hard time getting back to their normal lives. So the APA, or American Psychology Association, which is the leading scientific and professional organization representing psychology in the US, they had an article written by Melissa Lee in March 2018 that cites a not Kane and Vischer study that states men and women released, like inmates that are released, receive minimal preparation and inadequate assistance and resources when they leave prison. So which this means is that they don't get a lot of help when they're trying to find jobs or housing when they first get out of prison. Lee also cites a 2018 Urban Institute study that is a trusted, unbiased source for authoritative insights that inform about the well-being of the US. They say that employers don't usually look to hire people with criminal backgrounds, which is pretty obvious. They do criminal background checks for when you apply for a job. And if they do, usually those jobs are low benefits. They don't give health care, they don't give dental, they don't give any insurance. And they're usually jobs like food service or wholesale or maintenance or janitorial. So they're not actually applying themselves in like a business type of way. They can't move up the ladder. They're just stuck at minimum wage jobs. So not only is employment a struggle, but so is finding a place to stay. So formerly incarcerated people are 10 times more likely to be homeless than the general public, according to an August 2018 Lucius Collette article on the nonprofit, nonpartisan Prison Policy Initiative website that provides research on the broader harm of mass criminalization. So Collette lists a lot of things that can affect housing and for prisoners, for formerly inmates, but the few that stood out to me were affordable housing shortages, which affect a lot of people in poverty, and when you're coming right out of prison, you don't have a lot of money, so you are basically hungry. The second one is just discrimination by public housing authorities. So a lot of public housing authorities are allowed to discriminate and not allow people with criminal records to stay in their private property. And then lastly are credit checks, which are put a big disadvantage on anybody that's been away from society for a long time. And so those are the reasons why a lot of inmates are not able to find housing when they get out of prison. So another issue that comes up with criminal justice reform is harsh sentencing that doesn't necessarily fit the crime. So according to my aide, you can see that this is from the justiceactionnetwork.org, which has polled Illinois voters in 2016 of all political backgrounds. It was conducted by FACO Research, which is an experienced strategic analysis team. So as you can see in statistic number 2, 92% of Illinois voters believe in lowering sentences for low-risk, nonviolent offenders. So low risk meaning that they aren't likely to offend again, and nonviolent meaning nobody was harmed. And the last statistic there, you can see that 87% of the voters voted to replace minimums with ranges so that judges can weigh circumstances. So instead of having like a minimum of 20 years for certain crime, maybe it's a 10 to 20 year. And so individual circumstances can weigh, the judge can weigh those and then decide what actually they get for their sentencing. So also the ACLU, which is an organization dedicated to defending and preserving individual rights and liberties of Americans, in 2013, the American Civil Liberties Union released a 240-page report on prisoners that are serving life for nonviolent offenses. So as you can see, this is Dickie Joe Jackson. He is serving life without parole for selling meth to get money for his son's bone marrow transplant, which was life-saving. And he said it's like someone dying but not being put to rest. This was his first offense, and he has life in prison just for that one charge. And so the ACLU lists very, very many things that people have done that have got them in life in prison without parole, but these are just a few. So possession of 32 grams of marijuana with intent to distribute, selling a single crack rock, sharing grams of LSD with concert goers. So all of these are non-violent crimes. A lot of them do involve drugs, and so they might be making an example out of them, but they're all non-violent and all have gotten life without parole for these sentences.